whoa. We got a lot to talk about today. And I put a tweet out about some certain news that happened, and I actually forgot about like some of the backstory to some of this, like for some reason, because we haven't talked about it in so long. So we got a little bit of coaching changes. We're going to talk about the third day or the third or fourth, well, whatever it was. I'll figure it out when I make my thumbnail. Of the combine, the running backs in general. Kind of want to talk about that group and how I might be turning to the dark side a little bit on these running backs, and I'm not trying to feed into it, but it's just getting to that point where I'm very intrigued at some of these prospects, especially at the running back position, and obviously some free agents for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to go over a few things with that, which should be interesting. So let's get straight to it.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
So the first bit of news I definitely want to go over is the most important because Eagles fans are going crazy over this. And so there's some Matt Patricia news coming out. And I said, okay, all right, well, let's see. When I saw this, I was actually really shocked. A tweet came out that the Eagles could be hiring Matt Patricia to be apparently the new linebackers coach. Okay, now obviously worked with Bill Belichick, obviously helped him out with the offense. Before that, he was with the Lions as a head coach for the first time, totally failed at it. That was the time we actually traded for Big Play Slay. And Slay had a lot to say when he was traded here and what he said about the Lions and Matt Patricia, and didn't get along with him. They didn't see eye to eye. He, kind of bringing that Belichick way to the Lions, and really didn't like the feel that it was like a military camp. Then really you were kind of told not to express your feelings and kind of let yourself out as a person. I think that's what really affected a lot of players with the Lions under Matt Patricia as the head coach. Now, I totally forgot about all that when this news came out, because I put out a tweet and I was pretty much like, if he's just going to be a positional coach, what's the big deal? And then people were like, tweeting at my tweet saying, dude, like, this is not good. This is really bad. I really don't know what to take out of this. Like, Slay is on this team. Matt Patricia's coming in. I mean, as a different positional coach, he's not going to be the corners coach, obviously, which we'll get into that. But, it's a little crazy right now. I don't know why they couldn't have just hired anybody else for this position. I'm not honestly really sure about it. I don't know why this guy is the answer. Why, I guess, he's been a coach for a long time. I mean, this is going to be the first time in a while he's been a positional coach. He actually tried getting that Denver defensive coordinator job this past year. But I don't know what to take from it. To allow Matt Patricia and Slay, like, coexisting with each other, I don't know what the Eagles are thinking. Maybe there was talks then the Eagles fans were talking about Big Play Slay. Maybe they're trying to trade Slay. Maybe, but I looked at it and I said, well, it's $21 million in dead cap. Like, does it actually make sense that they're going to take the dead cap and just get rid of Slay? I don't know. So there must have been a talk, or there must have been something, or unless they just didn't care about Slay's feelings and just want to hire him because it was good for the team, and Slay would just have to deal with it, period. Not like he'd be talking to him that much because, they're at different positions. He's a linebacker coach and Slay's not a linebacker. But then it comes back to the linebackers. You go from Nick Rallis, that was a very, very good linebacker coach, now with Gannon in Arizona as the new DC. And Matt Patricia comes in, and it's like, this guy. There was times where I thought about it today for a little bit, and I said, does this actually make sense? It hasn't really been official yet. So we're still in the clear of this actually happening, but this is, I don't know what to feel about it really, because I've always had, not because he was part of the Patriots for so long, but I've always just because of all the rumors you heard about him and how, I mean, especially when he became the Lions head coach, nobody liked him. I mean, nobody did. A lot of players did not like him, and Slay was very vocal about it, which I forgot. I totally forgot about all that happened until after I put out the tweet, and people were like, dude, like, he's a cancer. He's not going to last here. This linebacker core is going to be horrible. He's going to ruin our players. Like, I don't, there is a plan. Jeffrey Lurie and Howie must have a plan behind this. Now, I don't know if it's them or Sean Desai is hiring his own staff. From what it looks like, they're letting Desai hire his own staff as it is right now. And I don't know if Desai and Patricia actually coach together or they know each other, or is this strictly a Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie type move to bring him in for some weird reason? He won't be a part of the defensive planning. He won't be a part of the scheme, and he won't put his input on that. He's just going to worry about the one position that he's coaching, which is the linebackers. So I'm very on and off about it. I've never really liked him, and I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know. Is something going to happen to Slay? Is Slay not going to be here? Is there something in the motion? I honestly have no idea. Are they moving on from Slay because Patricia's coming here? Maybe they already have something, they're going to move some money around and try to get Slay off this team and try to trade him for some draft capital. I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine with this whole entire situation with Matt Patricia. But am I liking it? Not really. But I'm always willing to give it a chance because I would expect the Eagles to know that Matt Patricia and Slay just don't see eye to eye as player to coach. So if the Eagles totally ignored that or didn't know about it, they definitely knew about it when we traded for him, but didn't really know. I don't know. They have to know something. There's got to be something going on behind the scenes that we don't really know right now. Maybe they talk to Slay like, "Hey, we're going to be hiring Matt Patricia." Like, is that Yeah, I don't know. But I would think they would have talked to Slay. It would have made a little bit more sense in that aspect of why they would hire him. But yeah, it just doesn't sit well with me for some reason, and I guess it's normal. But I'm always willing to give guys a chance, and he's going back to a positional coach. He's going to have no say in really much of anything. Maybe, what he's looking for in linebacker. I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't even think he's well-respected reputation-wise, but when it comes to being a player's coach, he's never really been that. And yeah, his true colors really showed out when he went to Detroit. So sorry I spent 8 minutes talking about this, but I think it's pretty important because a lot of Eagles fans were really pissed off at this situation with Matt Patricia. So we'll leave that for another day. It's in development story right now, so nothing's official yet, but we will get back to that when the time comes. Obviously, we know that Denard Wilson is gone. Okay, so they parted ways. Denard Wilson was ready for the promotion for DC. Really, the DC position was between Sean Desai. It was between Glenn Schumann, the Georgia defensive coordinator, and it was between Denard Wilson. And Denard Wilson did not get the job. Denard Wilson is a very, very, very good coach that definitely deserves a promotion somewhere. I wasn't a big fan of having him as a DC here, but he will get a job somewhere else, like immediately. It's a shame he couldn't stay here. He's going to be a really good coach. I mean, there was even some of the off-scripted stuff, the Philadelphia Eagles videos that they put out of the unscripted stuff, and it was pretty cool. Like, there was one video where Denard Wilson was with the secondary, and he was like yelling at all the players. And even James Bradbury had an interview like a week or two ago talking about Denard Wilson, and how, he's very tough on his players, but you can't take him personally. You can't take it serious. It's all mental, and he makes you a better player. So Denard Wilson probably deserves a DC job. He will get it. So, or maybe not a DC job this year, depending. But he's going to be. He's a hell of a good coach. It's a big loss for the Eagles secondary to have him not here. So hopefully that spot fills up, which we don't have yet. Desai will probably hire somebody of his own that he gets along with, someone that he works well with that's a good coach. So we'll figure out what happens by the time that comes out. So very exciting for that. Now going to the get out of that whole thing. Going to the combine. Yeah, the running backs, man, I gotta say, looking at Bijan Robinson that ran a 4.47 in the 40 and then did those agility drills, looks really fast, good footwork, really just, it looks like he's not even trying. I mean, when he went for those the catches, going out for those passes on stride. I mean, just smooth as butter, man. Like, it's really tough for me right now to not be too focused into these running backs. But I got to say, Bijan Robinson, the best offensive player in this draft. There's no doubt about it. And what he would do for this offense going forward. And, when you look at this whole entire thing, the Eagles might have their pick of the litter at 10 because there's going to be 4 quarterbacks taken within the top 10. That leaves 5 spots. And, yeah, there's a big chance the Eagles will have, I think the Eagles are in a perfect spot at 10. But Bijan Robinson, damn, man, I mean, he looked really good, pause, but you know what I mean. And then you go to Jamir Gibbs as well. His footwork was amazing. I mean, he ran a 4.4. Footwork was amazing. Looked smooth, looked great. I mean, Gibbs is another guy that's not getting out of the first round. Could be a late first-round pick. He could move down a little bit. Maybe if the Eagles want to get a running back with the late first-round pick. I have no idea, but, another guy that could be on the radar. Eagles have had an interview with him as well. And even the backup to Bijan Robinson and Roschon Johnson that had a 4.59 in the 40 and is known for being a big bulldozer that could really go into the NFL as a nice bruiser for you. Not the fastest guy in the world. I mean, he's got some speed, but with the football in his hands and loving contact, I think he did some special teams with Texas as well. So he might have a special teams pedigree as well, and where he could be projected, not really sure. But there's just a lot out there right now with these running backs, and with the Eagles having the 10th overall pick, they will have the pick of the litter, to do whatever they want to do. And then obviously having that other first round pick is definitely going to help. So, just learning a lot more about, Bijan's backup and what he could do. And he is like I said, he is a bulldozer. He will run you over, and he's very physical. And, with this offensive line, like you have a perfect, and look, I'm not trying to turn to the dark side. Me and Philly were talking about in the shakedown the other night where he's like, we got to get Bijan. I'm like, it might sound like a good idea, and I probably will be happy if it happens, but because of the 10 free agents you have on your defense, it's really tough for me to get a running back. But slowly but surely, I am starting to turn to the dark side a little bit. I'm starting to kind of sink my teeth into the idea of getting a running back. It's an offensive league, and you get a running back into this offense with an offense that already has Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, a really good offensive line, Dallas Goedert. Kenny G is back in the backfield. Jalen Hurts with his legs being a threat within its own, and adding a running back of that caliber to your offense. Yeah, especially if you draft one with the 10th overall pick, you better utilize him if that's the case. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see a running back come in here where he gets 5 carries in the first half and they barely use him in the passing game, or if they get Bijan, if they get Gibbs or whoever they get, they start passing more to Gainwell and they're not doing enough. Like you got to utilize these guys. The 3-down backs, you have to utilize them as much as possible into your offense. I don't want to see games where you draft a running back with the 10th overall pick and he has four carries in the first half for 26 yards. I'm not dealing with that. If you're going to run the ball, you're going to you're going to utilize somebody taking advantage of your offense of what you have right now. Between Miles leaving and Samala walking, that's all you have to worry about, and replacing those spots, which they could be replaced easily by the draft and what we've already drafted from last year in Cam Jurgens. So there's a lot rolling on the table right now, but I'm starting to like the idea of drafting a running back early. I'm trying not to believe it too much. I'm trying not to get too much into it, but I thought those guys did really well, a lot of them. And like I said, the 40s don't mean much to me, really. It's nice to see how fast they could run, but at the same time, when it's game day, it's a totally different story, and it's, these guys can play. The best offensive player, Bijan Robinson, and then you have a Kamara clone and Jamir Gibbs that could, take off the top. You could line him up as a wide out. You could do almost anything you want with him. You are at a luxury right now in this draft where you have some really good running backs right now. But if you want the generational talent, you know who to draft. So it should be really interesting. I really enjoyed watching the running backs today. It was a lot of fun. Now, I want to talk about the Eagles free agents, okay? More news is coming out on more interest. I mean, this is not good news, or maybe it's good news for some players that we really don't like. I think one, it will be Marcus Epps, getting a lot of interest from a lot of teams to be a caliber starting safety in the league. You know, not one of my favorites because he, uses his helmet too much. His coverage wasn't great. And there was times he played good. I'm not saying that Epps was a horrible player here, but he's had his ups and downs. But I think he's been a pretty solid player for us down the line. And giving him a chance, to go somewhere else, get paid, and I wouldn't re-sign him for a lot of money. That's definitely not happening. Now that Reed Blankenship is coming into the mix now, see if the Eagles, draft another safety for more competition. Reed Blankenship needs competition. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, we haven't heard anything about the tag. We haven't heard anything about a long-term extension yet for him. So there's a lot rolling on the safety position as well. We've heard the Josh Johnson, the free agent from the Browns. We've been hearing stuff about him, that the Eagles might sign for cheap. So who knows what's going to happen? But Marcus Epps, I had him walking. I didn't have him coming back, so we're not really surprised on that. But just want to kind of go over, a few of these players that, we're not going to be surprised if they're leaving or not. Marcus Epps is definitely going to get paid. How much is going to be? I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be high caliber, one of the top paid safeties, but definitely out of the price range for the Eagles where they really shouldn't put money into him at all. And then more news came out on Isaac Seumalo, so the voided contracts for the next 3 years, the Eagles are going to have to pay him more of his bonus money the next 3 years because of the voided contracts. So they will have to. So the cap will be affected by Seumalo leaving into free agency, into the open market this year as well. And we talked about this offensive line because Lane Johnson's getting old. The Eagles have really, Jeff Stoutland's here, multi-year deal. Thank God. That was one of the biggest coaching re-signings we've had because I totally forgot that he was even, this is the last year. Then it was like, a few weeks ago, a month ago, we heard, and then the news came out that Jeff Stoutland signed for a multi-year deal, which is great. So staying with this offensive line, and the Eagles have interviewed a lot of tackles, I think they've only interviewed one guard and like a lot of tackles. So should be interesting what they do. They have the second round pick. They have a third round pick. They can use that second, third round pick drafting an offensive lineman. They got to do it every single year. Lane Johnson's getting old. Cam Jurgens is now moving to that right guard spot with the assumption that Jason Kelce is staying as the starting center. So, I'm hoping Kelce stays. I mean, I have a, 86, 87% gut feeling he is staying because I think Kelce knows it. It would be different if this team was, didn't have a great roster offensively. It was a total mess. The offensive, and he had to start from the ground up again. And he wanted to retire. I wouldn't even blame him. But because you really don't have that many changes. Your left side with Mulata and Dickerson, I mean, just fantastic. Your left side is the strongest side of the line right now. Lane Johnson coming back healthy, hopefully stays healthy this year. They're going to have to draft another right tackle. Dillard is leaving to the unrestricted market, so you could bring Dillard back for very cheap if you can. Dillard might come back, who knows, because they weren't going to pay him that fifth-year option for $12.5 million. Cam Jurgens was actually supposed to play a lot of right guard next to Kelce last offseason during training camp and OTAs, but because when Kelce had the orthoscopic injury in his the cleanup in his elbow, he had that little bit of surgery. Cam Jurgens was forced to play center while Kelce was pretty much just not dressing up for practice for the whole entire offseason until the first game. You know what I mean? So to cross-train him the right guard and play next to Kelce and learn from Kelce even more, I think, obviously we saw that Cam Jurgens was an immediate impact. I mean, Landon Dickerson was supposed to be the future center for us until he went to the left side after that San Francisco home opener. He went to the left side after playing on the right side and not playing too well. And next to Mulata, it's been fantastic. Now, if Cam Jurgens plays really well at right guard, really good, I really think going into this offseason, you got to play Cam Jurgens at guard and center, both positions definitely. But if he's never played right guard, yeah, you got to get him in there. He was an immediate impact last offseason. They've used him for a lot of red zone stuff. They put him as a receiver. They put him as an extra lineman in red zone. So he's had his snaps here and there. But I'm excited for Cam, man. I think it was definitely one of the most smartest picks in collaboration with Kelce and Howie Roseman working together on finding the next future center lineman for this team. However, it's going to play out this year into next year if Kelce stays or if this is his last year, whatever the case may be. They did restructure Kelce's contract and freed up $2.4 million. So, there's a lot going on there. So that's the offensive line for you right now. They just got to get more depth. They got to get a future right tackle because Lane, how many more years he's going to be playing, I don't know. So there's a lot to go there. And that's pretty much it. I mean, there's really nothing else going on besides that. We're still going over a lot of these prospects. Free agency is right around the corner. So these free agency live streams will be happening all next week, every single day. They just hang out, talk about the rumors and stuff like that. So there's a lot going on, but we're gonna get things cooking. We're gonna get things started throughout the week. And like I said, the Matt Patricia thing. Let me know, you guys know. Tell me about the Matt Patricia thing. Do you agree with it? Do you don't agree with it? Are you really against it? I'm very up in the air about it. I'm always willing to give guys chances to be coaches, or he's demoting himself back to a positional coach, apparently rumored to be a linebacker coach. So I don't know if I'm on board. I've never really liked him as a person, as a coach, because I never really thought about Matt Patricia as a player's coach, because I don't want him coming in here treating everybody like it's some military base, and it's how he kind of ran his team in Detroit, and that's kind of the Patriot way as well. And we've always talked about, Slay talked about the Patriot way. He tried bringing the Patriot way to Detroit, and that's what really pissed him off at the end of the day. So it's kind of crazy, but I hope everybody enjoys themselves. I was supposed to make 2 separate videos out of this, but I said screw it, I'm gonna cram everything in one, because I don't know, I don't have a brain half of the week because I'm so damn busy. So you guys let me know in the comment section what you guys think of all the news that's been going on and the running backs in general from the combine. Let me know what you guys think, and are you guys starting to turn your heads a little bit like, man, maybe we have to get a top talent and get a running back in here in the first round for 4 to 5 years. You don't have to worry about the position for a while. And the Jalen Hurts and the tandem he can have with a really good running back on top of those receivers, that tight end, and that offensive line sounds pretty good to me. So you guys let me know in the comment section below. If you guys lasted this long, 21 minutes throughout this video, and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Cover the Eagles every single day, and like the video as well. It does help a lot. So you guys enjoy your day, and I will see you guys on the next one. SHAKESQUAD up, follow, slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.